Am I the asshole for trying to prevent my wife from being so close to her mom? My wife and I have been married for almost 10 years and she is an only child. We really do get along well, have much in common, similar lifestyles and all. However, the one thing that has always made me really angry was the fact that she was really close to her mother. I never liked her mom. She was always the drama queen in her family. Not really the most gracious person towards my parents, and most of the time I do not hang with her mom. I usually let my wife go up and hang with her. We live in DC but her mom lives in New York. She takes the train up once a month. Her mom pays for the train tickets every time she goes up to her see. I do not really like that because her mom and I do not hang out much and sometimes I feel like her daughter is all she cares about hanging out with. The other weekends my wife and I are always together doing amazing things. We travel to cool countries, go to wineries, cool restaurants, etc. I love everything about the wife. She is super sweet, really nice and welcoming to my family. She is not demanding. Sometimes maybe she's a bit indecisive. I just hate how close she is to her mom, being that her mom has caused issues in my wife's family. She even talks to her a couple of times a day like they are best friends. My wife claims that they are having great conversations and are very close, but I worry that she is doing it out of obligation for her mom. The wife says that she is there for me and to let her handle the situation with her mom. Her mom really likes hearing from her each day. I told the wife that she needs to set boundaries with her mom and only talk to her 2 to 3 times a week. The wife says where she comes from, girls are super close to their moms. The wife claims that she is never on the phone or texting her mom when we are together, which is true. When we are together, the wife is super focused on me. But even on vacation, the wife is texting and calling her mom when they have landed safely in a place. Or she'll call her mom a couple of times when we are away, letting her know that we're having a great time and sending her pictures of the trip. Again, the wife gets angry when I tell her she needs boundaries because she claims how close her and her mom are. Am I the asshole for thinking so otherwise? Sometimes I think that she is unhappy with me because she is talking to her mom a lot. Am I the asshole for forcing my older daughter to teach her younger sister how to drive and making her miss her plans? I, 50 female, have 2 daughters, Chelsea, 21, and Anna, 16. Chelsea is a very fun person, but a lot of the times her jokes go too far, and even though I have tried to tell her so, she refuses to admit that it can be a problem. And this is mine and my husband's own fault. We haven't given her strict enough consequences regarding this growing up for reasons I can't fit into the character count. Anna just got her learner's permit and has been going out in the car with me or my husband and driving around the neighborhood, just so she can get used to being behind the wheel for her on-road lessons. Chelsea decided it would be funny to buy some fireworks poppers and put them under the wheel of the car, so that they'd pop when Anna pulled out of the driveway. The prank itself was harmless since those things are meant to be stepped on and no actual damage was done to the car or anyone inside it, but it was Anna's 3rd or 4th time behind the wheel ever. And she was already not super confident, and the loud noise freaked her out so much that she accidentally stepped on the accelerator, got scared that she was losing control of the car. She was fine, but anyone who's learned how to drive a car knows what it's like when you're very new to driving and what it feels like to not be able to control the vehicle. I got out of the car to check what Anna had driven on and saw Chelsea laughing hysterically from the garage. I asked her if she knew what had happened, and she told me what she had done. I told Chelsea that it could have been very dangerous if Anna had completely lost control of the car and sped it up anymore. To which Chelsea replied that if Anna can't handle a tiny distraction, then she shouldn't be driving in the first place. I reminded Chelsea that she was just as inexperienced in driving when she was 16 and that she should understand that this is not the time to pull such pranks. But Chelsea insisted that it isn't that deep and went inside. As I stated above, this isn't the first time that Chelsea's pranks have gone too far, and I was tired of her never learning. So I told her that I would be taking her keys on Saturday and she would be taking my husband's car to help Anna learn how to drive, with my husband or I in the back seat. She has plans on Saturday to go to lunch with a friend she hasn't seen in a while, so she didn't think I was serious, but after I actually confiscated the keys. She had been insisting that I'm being too harsh and parentifying her to make her teach her sister and miss out on her own life. My husband agrees with my motives but thinks that Chelsea is too old for such punishments and needs to learn these things herself in the real world. I feel bad that she is missing her plans and agree that she is too old to be disciplined by her mother like this, but she's gone this long without consequences and I really think it has to stop. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my son he's eating too much and inadvertently calling him fat? So, I've always struggled with my weight. I've seen the way the world treats fat people and it's often unkind. The last thing I wanted was my kids to go through the same BS, so I've been very particular about making sure they eat healthy, get good exercise, and use portion control. I don't put them on extreme diets or anything crazy, just good health habits that every person should have and that I ideally would have had in my own childhood. My son Rhodes just turned 16 a couple weeks ago. He is not overweight, which is relevant later. He's been doing great in school and recently got a nice job for the summer. To celebrate, Wednesday I let him go down to a nice local sandwich shop he likes. I gave him the card I use for occasions like these and waited in the car for him. When he came back he tried to hide it from me but he had a case of hiccups. I guess I was a little overreactive, but I asked him how much he'd eaten. He shrugged so I made him give me the bill so I could see. He bought 2 sandwiches, a large shake, 2 turkey and cheese salads. Which is a lot, and I told him he really only needs to eat 1 sandwich and 1 salad, they're huge at that place, but he didn't pay that much attention to me and just fell asleep on the drive home. And as you probably know that's like the worst thing you can do after you overeat, it's better to walk it off. The next day at breakfast I made him a bit less than usual. It wasn't much less but he noticed and asked why. I told him the truth, he's been eating a lot more lately, not just at the sandwich shop but in general and I don't want him to get into the habit of getting 3rd and 4th helpings. Or double sandwiches or eating entire pizzas, basically the kind of shit that lead this country into being as grossly obese as it is. I didn't realize the way I was saying it came off like I was calling him obese or fat in front of my other kids. I know it seems obvious now but at the time I truly did not notice. I'm used to talking honestly like this among my friends. The minute I heard them laughing I told them to quit it. It's good advice for all of us, not just Rhodes. As I said, he's not overweight at all, he's nice, tall and thin. I didn't want him getting bad ideas so I pulled him aside later and said I didn't mean to insinuate that he's fat. He said sure but since then he's been very careful eating around me, choosing very healthy foods and leaving a decent amount behind. It's not a bad thing, but we used to talk so openly and now he's a lot more distant. Am I the asshole for my comment? I think I was a touch careless but I genuinely did not mean any harm. Am I the asshole for calling out my nanny for being a liar and disrespecting my home? I'm single parenting 2 kids at the moment, so have a regular nanny come 4 days a week, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., as well as the occasional Sunday. She's been looking after my kids since my youngest was born, 3 years ago. Around 2 years ago, she got 2 black Labrador puppies, and asked if she could bring them with her to babysit. I said yes, because I was in desperate need of a nanny and she was otherwise pretty good. Well, the other day I left something behind at home that I needed for work. I messaged the nanny and asked if she could drop it off, and she said she could. Well, I met her in the lobby of my office building, and she was there with the kids and her 2 dogs on their very long leashes. Dogs aren't allowed in the office but I was pretty stressed and relieved, so didn't say anything. That is, until I noticed one of the dogs sniff around at the couch and lift its leg and pee. The other dog then wandered over and lifted its leg on the couch in the same spot, almost as if it were trying to outmark the other one. The nanny was too busy tending to the kids and didn't notice. She just held the lead without watching them as they wandered around. I didn't say anything because it would be a bit awkward. It's got me thinking though. We were there for probably 5 minutes tops, and both of the dogs engaged in marking behavior. It makes me wonder, do they do the same behavior at my house? So I texted the nanny, and basically said that I noticed both her dogs peed in the office lobby, and asked if that's normal for them, because I was concerned since my children play in the house. She told me that she's never seen them pee inside before, and that I'm probably overthinking things. Then this morning, she was running 5 minutes late, so I waited outside for her to arrive. She got out of the car, and I noticed that as soon as she opened the trunk of her car and let the dogs out, they both ran up to one of my rose bushes and lifted their leg to pee, one after the other. Then they went to the fence and did the same thing, before coming back to her. I queried the babysitter, again, and asked if she was sure they didn't do that inside too. She got really annoyed and told me to stop being so insufferable. I said that it's really disrespectful to my clean home, and she told me to just go to work and stop micromanaging. I left it there because the last thing I want is to fight with the woman looking after my kids. Am I the asshole for making that accusation though? I feel as though the dogs have a strong marking and territorial tendency, and it would probably have happened once or twice, or even every day, who knows, in my home over these 2 years.